Hello, and welcome to POLS 3313, Public Policy Analysis. I'm Dr. Carl Snook. I'm looking forward to a great semester as I seek to be a resource to you as you're introduced to the idea of public policy analysis, which is really just the utilization of a certain methodology to determine whether the alternatives that we are considering are the best to solve the public policy problems that we face. And so this semester I will spend a fair amount of time introducing us to different approaches and different ideas in public policy analysis, as well as some background in public policy, things like agenda setting and alternative selection and political feasibility and the rest. So the main way that I hope that you reach me this semester is by using my campus email, which is csnook1@kennesaw.edu. Generally speaking, this being an online class, my office hours, I will meet with you on campus if that's what you desire, or online, but primarily we'll be doing this virtually, and we'll just set appointments and we'll go ahead. I seek as much as possible to have an opportunity to speak with all of you this semester. If it doesn't work out, it won't be something that holds you back from success other than maybe what I might have been able to tell you. On the other hand, if you're not in communication with me, I think you're missing out on a great opportunity. Some of what you're paying for is the actual attention on an individual basis by the instructors in the courses that you have registered for. So primarily the best time to reach me will be between 10 and 12 and 3 to 5, Monday through Thursday. Other days of the week, I'm still available. Just send me an email. Generally speaking, I try to get back in touch within 24 hours. I suppose there'll be times this semester that I will be out of town, but when I am, I still check my email regularly, and I'll either be able to respond immediately or I'll send you a message that tells you when I will be able to. But that's not going to be a problem very often. Generally speaking, you'll send me an email and you'll hear from me as soon as possible, usually within moments. Sometimes I'll have to say within 24 hours. So as we look through the course, one of the things I strongly recommend to all of you is to look closely at the syllabus. I view the syllabus as being official. If I'm going to make any changes to the syllabus, I'll make an announcement in D2L that will tell you. I don't anticipate there being major changes of any sort. I suppose I didn't anticipate that in 2020, though, and then all of a sudden they shut down the whole country. But it won't be just because I had the opportunity to go get ice cream or something. Now, the textbook in our course is a practical guide to policy analysis by Bardock and Potashnik. And the idea of using a book that's as applied as that is that I really want to be able to give you these tools for answering public policy questions, solving public policy problems that you can then apply to some other area of your life that really interests you. This semester, I'm limiting the number of different topics that I'll be required to know to 22. You're going to pick from those 22 alternatives a policy problem that interests you. And I think that I've created a breadth of problems, but also in 10 to 12 pages, there's certain issues facing society that are giant and we just can't cover within 12 pages. If you are deciding that you're going to solve climate change in 12 pages, then obviously you're just not giving it the detail that the class is going to be asking for. On the other hand, I'm not asking for something as narrow as hiring, figuring out whether you should hire permanent employees or have a service mow the lawn of a single city park in Atlanta. Some policy analyst is going to have to make that decision at some point, but we'll let you be a little more creative and such than all that. In addition to the Bardock and Potashnick book, you're going to have several different videos that you're going to be watching and several different articles, and all of those will have links within D2L for you to go to find, and so you don't have to worry about going to the library or going to the library website to find them in most cases, although it's always good practice to to get used to doing research, because there will be some outside research in this course. Even though, as I often tell students, whenever somebody gives you a paper in a college course, it's really a hidden essay exam. You do go out and you find some additional information, but what they're really looking for you to do is to take an idea that you've discovered through the course and apply that idea to solving a practical problem or to some issue that you'll be doing the outside research on. So this semester will have a lot of application, but it will be an application of class material. And so it's important that I do introduce you to some concepts. Now, where do our grades come from this semester? And that's another way of saying what are going to be our assignments this semester. Well, first of all, you're all going to have an assignment here in this very first module. It'll just be a personal introduction. There's great things about writing a personal introduction. First of all, it gets everybody in the class together and they get to know a little bit about each other. I'm not asking you to share any very secretive or private information, but there's things you might want others to know about you. And one of the things that the prompt's going to ask for is just for you to mention the things that you care about and motivate you as related to your academic studies. And some of you might be really, really interested in. I should come up with something good. The only thing that flashed into my mind was climate change, and I'd already used that example once. So let's say that maybe that is the issue that motivates your life. Well, if that is the issue that motivates your life, then you certainly want to gather tools in this class that will help you be an advocate on a concrete basis. And so what I would argue is that telling your fellow classmates about that can only help. But what I really want to do is I really want to get you all writing. I want you to understand that every week or so that there'll be an assignment in this class, and it's important that we get them done. And if you have an aversion to writing 300 words about yourself, if you say, I don't know 300 things about myself or 300 words worth of things about myself, then that might be a bit of a struggle this semester. So it's always good to, it's why a sports team does jumping jacks, not because that's the thing that really is what's going to win them the Super Bowl, but you have to do some exercise first, right? In addition to the personal introduction, 5 times this semester we're going to be writing reaction papers. What you're going to do is you're going to be watching a video related to public policy analysis and reading articles, and the reaction papers are going to give you an opportunity to talk about what you learned, how you put that information within the sphere of your knowledge. Then on February the 1st, our first step towards writing our public policy paper will be the policy question assignment. And this is the point where you're going to have formally chosen a policy. So the class is starting on January the 8th, and you have 23 entire days to decide what you're going to do. And so, from a list of 22 topics, you find a problem within one of those topics, and that's what you're going to write on. And so, um, you know, if you don't come up with one in 3 weeks, I'll be very panicked for you. But it also gives you the responsibility of going and doing just a little bit of background research. Now, I can assure you that none of the 22 topics that I have chosen are so narrow that you won't be able to find 12 quality pages to write on. But what I would say is, if you don't do any background research, you might not be sure that you really care about the topic that you've chosen. And 16 weeks can be real drudgery when you're working on something that you don't care about. But we're locking in on those topics on February the 1st. So there's not going to be any April 15th. Oh, by the way, I think I want to change my topic. It's February 1st. So you're going to want to do some background research before that. Most everybody will get 20 out of 20 on this. But the main thing that is important with it is that if the more you know, the more you can write, the more you write, the more I can give you feedback and put you on the path to writing a successful paper. We have a midterm and a final in this course. In each case, it's just a opportunity to apply what you've learned to answer the questions. It should be pretty straightforward. It's going to be open book and open note. The idea is not to trip up anybody. It's just to make sure that you have considered each of these different areas as we move forward in the course. The next step with the paper will be a policy feasibility paper. There's an awful lot of things that we'd love to accomplish in this world that we just can't, because it's not feasible politically. Too many people would be opposed to what you want to do, or it's not feasible technologically. No matter whether I want to go to outer space or whether I want to, cure a horrible disease, I might just not be able to do that. And so when we're thinking about the policy alternatives, we want things that will actually work and are acceptable to enough of society that they might actually be implemented. This isn't imaginary, right? We're working on something that is a real world solution, and real world solutions are things that can be done with the scientific and engineering resources of society, and also can be done with the economic and political resources of a society. The policy analysis paper, you'll have an opportunity before it's actually due if you want to send me a draft and I can make comments on it. But the policy analysis paper itself is worth 100 points. It used to be a 400-point class, and it was set specifically to be 25%. But now the policy question plus the policy feasibility plus the policy analysis paper together equals 160. Not too much though, because it's going to be in those morsels, those small bits, and we'll be working all semester long toward this final assignment. And then points for course engagement. If you disappear after the first week and the only time I ever see you or hear from you is on the final paper, not only will you have missed all those other assignments, but you'll also lose some engagement. Hopefully what happens is that we continue to interact all through the semester. And, 90% of the time, 90% of the students get 90% of the points, right? But if somebody just tunes out for 12 weeks, it's not, this is a way to take that into account. And for the students who stay engaged, it's an easy way to give them 10% of the points for the class. Obviously, we have some course expectations like netiquette, and you need to have a computer that works. We're going to be using either American Political Science Association or Chicago Manual of Style for all the papers this semester. Some of the things that jump right out, that means you have a cover page. You don't put the information in the top left. You'll have in-text citations. The date of publication is right after the folks' name and before the title of the article, things like that. I strongly encourage you, if you go into your search engine and you type American Political Science Association Style Manual, just for free, it'll pop up. You'll have the entire thing, and it'll talk about all sorts of elements of style that political scientists supposedly care about. You can also find numerous locations for both Chicago style and for APSA style. You can find short guides put out by universities and such. You're expected to stay engaged. There's rules for the engagement. One of these is that if you don't log in on 2 separate days during a week, now, of course, there's excuses, but if you just tune out, we don't hear from you for 2 weeks. Not only will you have missed the assignments, you'll also lose some engagement points. I say that you lose 25% of the points right away and 25 for each additional day for late assignments. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't turn the paper in, I'll send you an email and I'll say, I didn't receive a paper from you. And that would be a really good moment for you to respond to my email. Just looking really quickly through a lot of the boilerplate, I include a note on communication. One of the things that I think really makes a class successful is when there's a great deal of communication between the instructors and the students. There is no one should ever send me a message that says, I'm sorry for bothering you so much. That's not even something that I think about. When a student sends me a question, especially when they send me a question before they have turned in something where it's wrong, I want to do everything I can to make sure that I can help that student. It's not just my job, it's what I like about my job. And then the next thing that you'll come up with is the course outline. And again, all of the deadlines, as best as I can tell, are in bold face. It'll list the assignments that are due. And so I strongly encourage you to look through those. So that's kind of a lot, like right through drinking through the fire hose. And next week you'll start looking at the you'll start looking at the course materials for the paper, and we'll have another communication like this. And I encourage you all to listen through the entirety of it. I think I give some good advice, and I hope that you think it's all straightforward at that point. But again, if you're at all confused when we are looking at Module 2, I encourage you to contact me. So good luck, everyone, and I'll hear from you or or read from you again soon.